Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, and we generally like to talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video, we're going to be talking about a Japanese dexterity game. We're going to be talking about Tokyo Highway. And in this game, you'll be stacking roads on top of each other, trying to place your cars on the roads to score points in the hope that you don't knock the structure down, that will lose you the game, and that you'll get points to win the game. So in this video, we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We're telling you what we do like, what we don't like. Then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Tokyo Highway is still worth your time and bother several years after it was first released. So remember, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel if you ain't already. Hit the like button, all that bullshit, and we'll see you after this. Bollocks! So, Tokyo Highway. How'd you play this game? So, Tokyo Highway is a dexterity game, sort of stacking dexterity game, really. You're going to get a certain amount of roads, you're going to get a certain amount of columns, and you're going to get a certain amount of cars. This is all dependent on the player count, so the more players there are, the less shit you're going to get. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put one of your columns out onto the table, and you'll place a road that goes from the tabletop to the top of your first column, right? Everybody will do this, and you'll end up with 4 columns with 4 rows with a car on top of each road. So the goal of the game is to place all of your cars onto a road, and that will signal the end of the game. And the first player to do this will win the game, right? So the game will follow a strict pattern. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to build a column. A column has to be one higher or one lower than the column that's at its base point. So if you've got 2 columns, you can either build a column that's going to be 3, or you're going to be able to build a column that's 1. And then you'll place a road that links the 2 together. You may be able to place a car on this if it crosses another road. Roads can't touch each other, by the way, so it's got to be above or below it. You can place multiple cars if you cross multiple roads. There's several different restrictions on what you can and can't do when you place a road. I'm not going to go into that because it's bloody boring. And there's also the advanced rules of placing junctions. It basically means that you can stick a yellow disc on top of your column. It allows you to build a column at any height you want, so you don't have to adhere to the 1 up, 1 down rule. Yeah, there's also special points if you can make an exit, if you can place a road onto the tabletop so your car has a way of getting out of this bloody junction, right? And if you happen to knock over the structure, then there's some penalty rules to do with you handing over your pillars and roads to your opponents so that you end up with less and they get more. Yeah, so once the first person has used up all of their cars, then they will be the winner of Tokyo Highway. So what do we like about Tokyo Highway? So the first thing that we really like about this game is the fact that it's quite interesting, building something out of shit, really. This applies to a lot of dexterity games, you know, games like Via Paletti, Junk Art, Minara. It's just interesting to see how this structure takes on a life of its own when you've got more than one head trying to figure out where it's best to place all your stuff. So watching the structure morph into something absolutely crazy is actually quite interesting. So the second thing that we like about Tokyo Highway is that the scoring adds something interesting to the game, right? This could have quite easily followed the lead of other dexterity games where the structure collapses, the game's over, and the person that made it fall over loses and everyone else wins. But they didn't go for that. It's a case of getting your columns into position so that you can put the most cars out onto the structure, right? So that does add another dimension, adds another element to the game, and it saves the game from just being a stack 'em up, knock 'em over affair, right? So the final thing that we like about Tokyo Highway is it works at all player counts. This game was originally a 2-player only game, but due to popular demand, it morphed into a 4-player game. And it works at all player counts. It works at a 2-player game. It works at a 3-player game. And lo and behold, it works at a 4-player game as well. So if you are interested in this game, rest assured that you will find it works at all player counts. So what don't we like about Tokyo Highway? So the first thing that we don't like about this game is that the collapse rules simply don't work. It just so happens that when the tower collapses, it coincides with being quite a large structure, and when that happens, there is literally no chance of actually sorting through all the shit and figuring out who gets what and when. Yeah, so whilst we said the scoring makes this game interesting, once the structure collapses, you're basically toast anyway, and the game just sort of folds in on itself. So the second thing that we don't like about Tokyo Highway is the tweezers suck. You can't do nothing with them. When you put the tweezers in, you think, oh, I'll just grab that car with the tweezers, right? It fucks everything up. You're more likely to collapse a structure with the tweezers than you are if you stuck your dick in there, right? Don't get any ideas. Probably thought they were doing you a favour, but really, I think it's like a cheeky joke, yeah, to make you think that you're getting an easy time, when in fact, you're just going to bugger it up. So the final thing that we don't like about Tokyo Highways, at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of bloody lolly sticks, isn't it? You know what I mean? It looks like they pilfered these from an ice cream vendor and decided to paint them grey and make a game out of it, you know? So whilst the component quality is quite good, they have done really well. At the end of the day, you may as well just go and nick your mum's nail file and build it yourself, ain't you? So to summarise, is Tokyo Highway worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we are going to say yes. Just about. The thing that saves this game is it's a dexterity game, yeah? We do have a very soft spot for dexterity games. It's a very engaging and interesting game, but it does suffer from a very wonky end game. The fact that once the tower collapses, that's it. It's just a bunch of spaghetti. The further into the game you get, the more likely the structure is going to collapse, and that just makes a mockery of the whole affair. And thankfully, I don't drive. Well, that's actually a lie. I once did drive a nicked Fiat Strada into a wall, but that's another story. But thankfully I don't drive, so I cannot commit road rage when playing this game, right? But having said that, there is something strangely compelling about making an abstract work of art. If you can get through the game without the tower collapsing, then you can sit back and look at what you've created, and it is a sight to behold. This game just needs a few wrinkles ironed out. We still enjoy playing this game. It's a bit of a love-hate relationship with Tokyo Highway. If you don't like dexterity games, then go and play Ludo or something like that. But if you do like dexterity games, then you can pick this one up cheap like we did. Then it's definitely worth a goosey gander. So there you go, that's Tokyo Highway. Remember, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel if you ain't already. Hit the like button, leave a comment, all that bullshit, and we'll see you next Tuesday.